Now we get into a completely separate division of chains, and this is engineering chain. One of the first types of engineering chain to be developed is known as detachable link. This particular chain is normally made of cast malleable, and each link is individual and by itself does not have any moving parts. The two slide together through the groove here and make up a unit as shown here. This is relatively old chain which has been used for a number of years. It is primarily for conveyors and elevators in relatively light service at slow speed. It can be fabricated from pressed steel, and to give a similar configuration, this type chain is frequently used in agricultural chain and other similar light-duty applications. This is obviously one of the most economical chains on the market. Now we get into what is known as pintle chain. This particular one is class 400 or relatively light-duty pintle chain. It is obviously heavier than the detachable link chain and is used in elevators, conveyors, and for power transmission as well. By the way, on all of these chains I'm covering, there are all types of attachments. These attachments are used as a method of tying or connecting something to the chain. With these attachments, we can pull various items such as buckets, elevator slats, or conveyor slats. They can also be used in sewage treatment plants. So keep in mind, all the chain I'm showing you have various attachments that are available. Here we see a few of these, although there are many more available. Now the barrel is this section here. It is a casting which is integrally cast with the side plates, and we have a pin that's inserted here to connect the two links. The link is normally malleable iron and the pin is normally steel. Next is the class 700 pintle chain. It has a longer pitch, is a heavier duty chain, and is generally used for more abrasive materials. It is frequently used in sewage and water treatment plants. The barrel is integrally cast with the side plates as in the class 400 pintle chain. The next step along the progression is mill chain. Mill chain is similar to pintle chain but is heavier and, if you'll note, has wearing shoes on the bottom to give more wearing surface and abrasive applications. This makes it good for conveyor service. It's basically the same as pintle chain, the barrel being integrally cast with the side bar. Progressively heavier chain is the class 800 steel bush chain. Now, this particular chain, if you'll notice here, has a bushing put into the hole, and this bushing is replaceable along with the pin. This makes for longer life for the chain because the pin and bushing are the points which normally wear out first. Since these can be replaced, you get extended life out of the chain. These bushings are normally hardened steel or manganese steel. Manganese steel is a special steel with work-hardening properties. Now, this means that although it is not hard to begin with service or working, it will get hard. This hardening only takes place on the outer surface, and just underneath the surface, the material is tough, stringy steel. For this reason, manganese steel makes an ideal shock and abrasion-resistant material. Next, we come to combination chain. This is a particularly heavy-duty chain. It's cast, in this case, similar to roller chain construction, except the barrel has no roller. The barrel links are cast integrally with the side bars. We have a pin link, very similar to the pin link in roller chain. This is used in relatively rough, abrasive conditions, such as handling sand, ashes, coal, and wood refuse. Next is drag chain. As the name implies, these are chains that are used to drag materials, the material being trapped in this area. These come in a number of different configurations. This particular one is termed Type H. The same basic idea is used with a steel bar drag chain. This is just a piece of steel that is bent into this configuration with a pin that goes through at this point to tie it together. This is for relatively lighter duties than the normal cast malleable steel drag chain. We also have welded steel chain. This is a relatively new chain, and its usage is probably increasing faster than any other in the chain field. It's composed entirely of welded components. The barrel has been welded at this point and this point to the steel side bars. The chain can be fabricated from any type steel. However, copper-bearing steels are used to provide increased resistance to corrosion. It is available in unheat-treated, all heat-treated, or with only the pins heat-treated. It has one particular advantage as compared to malleable units, in that the attachment can be welded directly onto the side link. This is frequently done because throughout industry there are so many oddball things which need to be tied to a piece of chain, and the desired attachments are not always available. By the way, this particular chain is gaining wide acceptance in industry. In part, this acceptance stems from the fact that in certain applications, such as corrosive or abrasive conditions, malleable sometimes gives trouble. Therefore, any place where you have a trouble spot with other chain you've normally used through the years, welded steel chain should be considered and will often solve a problem. Now we have a different type of chain called rivetless chain. This is made up of a single loop here and two side bars that are connected together with a pin. By merely flipping this side bar around, we can take them right out of the configuration, which makes it easy to assemble and disassemble. This particular chain is most frequently used in overhead conveyors, and there's probably as much of this type chain used as any other kind because of the quantity used on a single conveyor. It is also especially good for flight conveyors, on applications where the material handle tends to pack in fully enclosed chain joints. This whole unit is normally of drop-forged steel and may be heat-treated or not, depending on the service. It's also available in various alloys for special application. Next, we have steel block chain. There are several styles of steel block chain. This type chain is primarily used in the steel mills for handling very heavy loads at relatively slow speeds. It is available with a number of different attachments to carry, for example, a billet or a roll of coiled steel. The attachments can be inserted in any one of the links. Now we have drawbench chain. Drawbench chain is of an extremely rough chain design using high-grade steels which are carefully heat-treated. This heat treatment is used to give the chain superior strength. The superior strength is needed because a drawbench is where we pull a mandrel through hot metal, and as a consequence, the chain must have tremendous strength. Drawbenches are normally found in steel mills or tube fabricating mills. Bar loop chain is next. Bar loop has a bar that is looped around, as you can see, and this then goes over a pin. This is used in applications where corrosion would form with slurries around a pin if, for example, we had an enclosed pin at this point. Bar loop chain is used in elevator and conveyor services and with non-abrasive or semi-abrasive materials.